Thank you, Kate. As you said, what a beautiful sight. Mosaic Stadium as the CFL emerges from the lost 2020 season. It has been exactly 20 months and 20 days since the last game played here. Time to play again. Week 1 continues with the return of the Roughriders and BC Lions on an emotional night, Glenn.
And it'll be emotional for last year's finalist for Outstanding Player out of the West. Cody Fajardo led the league in passing. He has set the bar high, and the expectations have skyrocketed. 36-year-old Michael Riley will start for the BC Lions, over 31,000 yards and just over 200 to move into 14th place in CFL history, passing Darian Durant, former Saskatchewan quarterback.
Finally, Rick Campbell gets to debut as the head coach of the BC Lions. He left the Ottawa Redblacks after 6 years after the 2019 season. He's had to wait, and he knows in this hotbed what an emotional night it'll be for that man, too. As the flyover comes, Dickinson in his first year as a head coach in 2019 took the Riders to a 13-5 record, and their hearts were broken in the Western Final. The last game played here when Winnipeg beat them in 1-on to win the Grey Cup. Takaro Yamasaki with an historic kickoff, and this leads to the return of the CFL in Saskatchewan. Luchez Purifoy on the return, and he gets decked as he gets up to the 35. Dyshon Davis, the ex-Rider, taking him down.
Well, he did it through the air with over 4,000 yards passing in 19. He also did along the ground, leading the Saskatchewan Roughriders to a first-place finish in the West Division. But a play away from a berth to the Grey Cup. Winnipeg won here at Mosaic and moved on to win the championship. So where does Cody Fajardo take his game in year 2 as a full-time starter?
The starting lineups brought to you by Expedia. Saskatchewan wanted the ball to start things off. They won the toss. What can Fajardo do over a year later, almost 2 years later, for an encore after a brilliant 2019? Handing off to William Powell. Tried right, looks left, goes back right again and gets it up across the 40, and a good gain on first down for Saskatchewan.
Well, he's got some weapons, starting with the guy who touched the ball first, and that's William Powell. But let's look up front. Some changes there. No Brendan Labatt, no Dakota Shepley. They've got some newcomers. Brett Boyko at tackle and Cameron Jefferson on the other side. Canadian receivers, great competition in camp. Lenius and Picton will watch here tonight, and their playmaker is Shaq Evans.
On second down and short. And looking off to his left and completes it to Jordan Williams-Lambert near first down territory. Will this drive continue for Saskatchewan? Williams-Lambert, the top rookie in the West in 2018.
Yeah, just a little use the sideline as this offensive line settles in. Fajardo's going to try and get it out of his hands quickly, get into a bit of a rhythm early in this game.
Up across the 45. Drive continues and a first down. Riders, and they start pointing fingers as the flags come out. J.R. Tavai, former Ottawa Red Black, following Rick Campbell, as did Anthony Chaffee to the BC Lions defense, and says, my bad. So, be a 1st and 5 by the looks of things for Saskatchewan.
Offside. BC number 10. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
From the referee, Tom Bellasi, for this big game tonight. Game 1, 2021. Saskatchewan and BC up near midfield. Fajardo, the leading passer in the CFL in 2019. A quick throw. Braden Lenius on the receiving end.
Take a look at the newcomers up front for the Lions on defense, and J.R. Tavai is the only veteran. The rest are rookies. We'll get more into their stories as the game goes on. Tavai coming over from Ottawa, so he worked with Rick Campbell, the new head coach for the BC Lions. Bo Lacumbo, part of that linebacking core, veteran of the Canadian Football League. They bring over Marcus Sayles from the Bombers and have Gary Peters and TJ Lee as the leaders of their back end.
After that catch by Lenius, and then William Powell driving his way again for another first down for Saskatchewan. Excuse me, 2nd and 3 on that first down carry by Powell. William Powell was busy in his first year with Saskatchewan after some great years with the Ottawa Redblacks, rushing for over 1,000 yards in 19. from the BC 47. Faking to Powell, dumping it off for Kyron Moore, and nowhere to go. Gary Peters, the veteran in that Lions secondary, coming up and taking him down.
Well, he is the veteran. I had a good conversation with TJ Lee, who will be the leader of that group, and they're really going to have to lean on the secondary for the BC Lions early in this season. Get that coverage, give their D-line a chance to get used to the pace of a Canadian Football League game. Guys that have come up from the NFL and from the States, but newcomers to the CFL.
3rd and 2, opening drive, and in BC territory, Fajardo and the Riders are going for it. To throw. And to complete it, too, and a nice catch there by Moore. Taken down quickly on the previous play. Kyron Moore with his second catch in this drive, and the drive does continue for Saskatchewan.
Trying to go tempo here, Rod.
Quickly on the ball. Riders on the move. Powell again, and driving up to around the 30. So a good start so far for the Saskatchewan offense.
Well, 3rd down gamble, and to get Kyron Moore on this out route, you have to have timing on the throw and confidence in your receiver, because if that's thrown a little bit behind him, it's going to the house the other way. Kyron Moore runs it down, and what a catch to lay out and bring that one in on 3rd down to move the chains.
Deontay Harden on the coverage there on that Moore catch. A 2nd and 4 now after the Powell carry. A driving offense, looking for more, and no. And a flag goes down in the BC secondary as well.
Illegal contact, BC number 20. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Bo Lacombo back in BC after a year in Montreal in 2019 gets flagged.
Yeah, Bo Lacombo has got to walk out from the linebacking core to get in coverage here, and inside move by Shaq Evans, and he just grabs that jersey on the outbreak.
So the ball's at the 20. 10th play of this opening drive for Saskatchewan. Dumping it off, wide open. That was Jordan Williams-Lambert touching the ball again, getting it inside the 10. 1st and goal for Saskatchewan.
Looks sharp out of the gate offensively. A lot of different looks. Started with a running play on this drive to William Powell. Just established the line of scrimmage in one play, and now it's quick game, getting the ball out of Fajardo's hands and to his playmakers.
Oh, the fans here in this sea of green and white, waiting a long time for something to cheer for. And they're in business right now inside the 10. 1st and goal from the BC 8. Taking the handoff to Powell, and Fajardo keeps it. He gets close. He gets down to about the 2 for a 2nd and goal, as Saskatchewan finds itself on the threshold of that Lions goal line.
Little play action inside. Try to draw the linebackers in. They do.
This Lions defense going through a lot of change between the 2019 season and this one. Only 2 regulars back in the secondary being tested. Right out of the gate, William Powell. Start off 2021 right for the Riders, and a touchdown Saskatchewan. And they've waited a long time to see it.
A long time and a lot of dark days for the entire country. And not only our country, but around the world. And now they're back. The Sea of Green unite here at Mosaic. And a real sharp drive. Cody Fajardo delivers in drive 1. I don't think he made a mistake in that drive. There was no incompletions, wasn't there? 12 plays, 75 yards. 5 for 5 for Fajardo out of the gate.
The only one that hit the turf was a penalty on Bo Lacombo. So 12 plays, 75 yards. And Brett Lowther to kick the conversion. Another point on the board for Saskatchewan. 1 possession. A long time coming, but they get it done quickly here. And they have the 7-0 lead on Friday Night Football, presented by the Brick on TSN.
Started the drive and finished it. Play 1 and play 12. Great job by Winnipeg last night. Winnipeg Blue Bombers winning in Game 1 of the comeback season for the Canadian Football League. Congratulations to Bomber fans who filled the stadium. It was an emotional night, and this one's going to be the same, I believe.
Brett Lather on the kickoff. Chris Rainey, one of the great return men in the history of the game, back in BC and taking that return up to the 40-yard line. Michael Riley now getting ready to come out for his first possession since 2019. And the Lions are in an early hole. Friday Night Football, presented by the Brick. Drive for the BC Lions, but no, it's the rookie, the backup Nathan Rourke. Glenn, talk about being thrown into the fire right away.
Canadian quarterback Nathan Rourke played his college ball at Ohio, and Rick Campbell has told me he is very impressed with the young man. He said you have to see it when the lights are on. Now, Mike Riley has had elbow troubles throughout camp. He did warm up today. He was named the starter. This must have been a literal last-second decision to go with Nathan Rourke.
And Rourke hands off to James Butler left side. So this is stunning. Riley had said just when we talked to him a couple of days ago, he fully expects to go.
They tried to shore up the offensive line that gave up a ton of sacks back in 2019. Riker Matthews comes over from Hamilton. That should really plug that right tackle spot. And then you look at the receivers. Brian Burnham, one of the best in the league.
So Nathan Rourke, as said, what a spot for a Canadian quarterback who was a star at Ohio. He's a first-team All-MAC player in 2019. And to Rick Campbell, a lot of confidence. That'll certainly be tested right now on 2nd down and 8. And under some pressure, he gets it off to Lucky Whitehead, who won't get enough for a first down. Catches it, gets up, and out of bounds. But punting situation after that completion by Rourke. As the punting team does finally come on, but what a stunning development early in this game. The first for the Riders and the Lions that Michael Riley is not playing. Nathan Rourke in there, and 2 and out. And back is Australian punter Jake Ford, one of the global players on this BC team. Gets it away from inside his 40s. Taken there on the return from Marcus Murphy for Saskatchewan. So the Riders drove almost a perfect drive, and they have the ball again here on Friday Night Football, presented by the Brick on TSN.
Yeah, Rod, Cody Fajardo was very upset after finally getting a chance to start in 2019 that he wasn't going to get to build on that momentum and get to know that new offensive coordinator. Stephen McAdoo in 2019 kept things very simple for Fajardo, got the ball out of his hands quick, took advantage of his legs. But when you look at Jason Moss, he's a guy that really likes to push the ball down the field. He's got a very thick playbook. But the one thing that impressed Fajardo was that he says Moss isn't married to any plays. If the quarterback doesn't like it, he'll take it out. Now, this offseason, they actually spent a week in a hotel room. They went through every single play that both Edmonton and Saskatchewan ran in 2019 to see what worked for both of them. They also had a chance to meet when Moss went to Baltimore to check in on what the Ravens were doing with Lamar Jackson in the quarterback run game to see what they could implement here with Cody in Saskatchewan. But coming into training camp, they had 400 plays. At the end of training camp, it was 500. They're down to 120 on the call sheet for tonight.
William Powell with his 5th carry of the game, and it is another good one. He's getting some space along the ground for Saskatchewan.
Led the league in passing, over 600 yards rushing. So there's a lot to work with Jason Moss. And yeah, in our Zoom call with Cody Fajardo this week, he told us that he said he's never, ever in his history, whether it's in college or high school or anywhere, worked with such a complex system that Jason Moss wants to run.
Jason Moss, of course, the former head coach in Edmonton, has worked with a lot of great quarterbacks. Marcus Murphy getting the carry. So not only special teams will be returning the punts, but in there for a carry as well. And talking about Jason Moss, though, and one of the quarterbacks that he worked with was Mike Riley, who's loomed as a bit of a story tonight, hasn't he? By not playing when we expected him to. But Ricky Ray, they're close. They played together, worked together. And Trevor Harris, of course, Henry Burris in Ottawa before he became the head coach in Edmonton. So,
well, Fajardo's had to be patient, Rod.
J.R. Tavai chasing him down. He gets it away, and he completes it. Nice play, Fajardo, and coming back to the football is Shaq Evans for his first catch in 2021.
Get that combination going early and often for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You got something. This is Fajardo throwing on the run with great accuracy as his receiver times it up and comes back to the football. Right on the sideline, 1 foot inbounds.
They continue to move the football. They're up to their own 50 now and a first down. Fajardo and the Riders in control early in this game and up by 7.
Look out.
Nearly gets hit. Ball coming short. Mitchell picked it. Local product, one of many, gets the catch near midfield.
Just in time. Fajardo knew with protection that he can't block them all. So he had Bo Lacumbo coming on this backside blitz, and it's just a timing thing. Could Cody Fajardo get the ball out of his hands before the free man gets to him? He got banged around a little bit, but no sack. Not yet.
Well, he said he wants to get hit. We were talking to him a couple of days ago. He can't wait to get that feeling of playing football again. He certainly got it there. And completes another one to Kyron Moore. So this is some brilliant, sharp work indeed by Fajardo and the Saskatchewan Roughriders into BC territory and another first down.
Yeah, I was mentioning the patience that Fajardo's had to have throughout his career. I mean, he started in Toronto. He worked behind Ricky Ray. He got to the BC Lions. He worked behind Travis Lulay. 2 great guys to learn with, by the way. To have those 2 guys as mentors is pretty important.
Over the middle to Evans again. His second catch of the game. And another first down. They're moving the ball at will right now to follow up on what you were saying with Fajardo, that he almost wanted to quit. He didn't think he was getting the chances, and said to Mark Pressman once in Toronto when Jeff Matthews got to start ahead of him, how do you expect me to learn anything or get experience if you won't play me? So he finally got that opportunity in Saskatchewan in 2019. First down, 35. Game 1, week 1, 2021. And Saskatchewan is looking very good that time. Things break down a bit, but still a couple of yards picked up on the ground for Cody Fajardo.
So we're seeing different formations from Jason Moss. That was bunch formation into the short side of the field with 3 receivers in that bunch look, with option for Fajardo to either give it to Powell, run it himself, or throw the quick screen. An example of what Farhan was talking about on the sideline. There's lots of options and lots of plays in this playbook.
2nd and 7. Under pressure. And Kamalo nearly got him. Ufambo Kamalo, one of the newcomers up front for BC, but couldn't quite get to him. And another first down as a result from Cody Fajardo, doing it that time with his legs, and he's 9 for 9 throwing the football.
University of Miami is where Kamalo played, and he just can't get there. You wonder with the newcomers, it doesn't matter what position, the newcomers in the CFL, no matter how much football you played or what leagues you played in, that 20-second clock catches you really early. You got to get your second win as fast as you can, and Fajardo just outruns the big man.
3 out of the 4 new to this league up front for BC. Only J.R. Tavai is back. And quick one to Evans again, so down near the 10. Wow. The Riders have just put on a clinic so far offensively.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, they've got BC talking to each other on defense, trying to make some adjustments. Right now, Cody Fajardo is working the offense really like mid-season form.
Mostly Rider fans here, of course, a sprinkling of orange, but the sea of green and white must be liking what it sees so far out of the home side. Back and playing again and playing very well. Fajardo. And an end zone look and a touchdown, Saskatchewan. Braden Lenius Another local product. Regina boy went to New Mexico in college ball in his second year, and he only had a couple of catches in 2019. He has a couple tonight, and one of them has put 6 more points on the board for Saskatchewan.
3/4 of the way through training camp, Cody Fajardo said in an interview that Braden Lenius was the MVP of their training camp. He said he is having a spectacular camp. In 2019, he was a little bit heavy. He was up at 240 pounds, lost some weight, got down to receiver weight, and has had a tremendous camp. Not surprised at all that they hooked up early.
With John Ryan holding, Brett Lowther kicks another conversion. Braden Lenius, Saskatchewan product, Saskatchewan lead. Thanks in part to that. It's all Riders so far here at Mosaic Stadium. Our winner, Paul Rempel from Chilliwack, BC. Save on Foods $1 million touchdown to win. And Braden Lenius, and you know, I've got Glenn Suter beside me and Farhan Lalji down on the sidelines who know their BC football. Excuse me. He was born in Regina, but he was raised in BC. Raised in Vancouver.
And Carson Graham grad. That is high school with a football program.
And finished his college ball in New Mexico, but played most of it at Washington as well. So
the great Earl Henderson, coach of the Carson Graham Eagles for so many years. Lenius didn't get Henderson, but he was at Carson Graham. And watch him use his body. This is a veteran move to just sort of block out like a basketball player would to try and get a rebound on that inside cut. Now, all these players coming out of this camp that had been shortened because of protocols, no preseason, no chance to really slowly get into game shape. You're just starting in the regular season, and they're all excited about it, as we all are, but it also
Major
is going to get them.
BC number 92, spearing. Half of this to the goal. First down.
Going to have to get their second wins here.
That's Josh Banks. Called on the spearing penalty, so goes from bad to worse right now for BC. Push further back to start this second drive, now at the 14. If you're just joining us, Michael Riley with an arm injury is not playing. He hasn't played it down. The backup rookie Canadian quarterback Nathan Rourke of the University of Ohio is at quarterback for the Lions, and that one goes incomplete, intended for Lucky Whitehead as we look at the Saskatchewan starting defense.
Well, they're veterans in the back end. That was a great play by Nick Marshall. And up front, A.C. Leonard and Micah Johnson back with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, two newcomers in Garrett Marino and Keon Adams. We'll watch them as the game goes on, see how they do in their first CFL games. And you look back in the linebacking core, no Moncrief, no Solly, no Judge. It's Dion Lacey, Hendy, and Micah Tights. And there's your veteran secondary led by Nick Marshall and Ed Gainey.
Nathan Rourke thrown right into the pressure cooker. And that one is batted away. Mike Adam was there.
Well, yeah, you know, Rod, that Saskatchewan now with Nathan Rourke starting.
A.C. Leonard there as well. With the Riders bringing the pressure.
They're going to send the house. I mean, they're going to test this young quarterback and see if he can handle the pressure. Now, in our call and talk with Rick Campbell, head coach of the Lions, boy, he liked the composure of Nathan Rourke in the work week. Real consistent, real level-headed, even-keeled. He's going to need it tonight.
Jake Ford with the punt, and it's a good one. Marcus Murphy chased back inside the Saskatchewan 45, but once again, because of where they were kicking from, it is great field position with the Riders leading by 14 and in business up near midfield. Well, CFL opening weekend coverage continues tomorrow with a showdown between the Argos. All the changes they've made, especially on defense, receivers too, against the Calgary Stampeders. Catch the action 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific only on TSN. But the story here between the Lions and Riders is no Mike Riley and a dominant Saskatchewan offense. And the defense hasn't been too bad either. BC hasn't been able to get anything going right now. William Powell on that carry up near midfield.
Well, every Saskatchewan drive, they're starting with a running play to William Powell, and he's getting a nice chunk. So it puts Cody Fajardo in a real manageable second down situation and opens the playbook right up. That keeps the BC Lions a little bit on their heels defensively.
2 possessions, 2 touchdowns. Possession number 3 late in the first quarter, and another completion to Kyron Moore. He's had a night so far. Up near first down territory again on the BC side, about the 50-yard line.
I'll expect Kyron Moore to be the utility knife for Cody Fajardo. He's going to be the Swiss Army knife, used in a lot of different ways, probably in the return game on special teams as well.
Second and just inches, or third, I should say, and looks like they do indeed have it. As quarter time comes to an end. Saskatchewan fans waited a long time, and this so far has been worth the wait. It is all Riders, 15 minutes through. Edition 1 2021, Friday Night Football, presented by The Brick on TSN. First quarter stats, top heavy for the home side. The Saskatchewan Roughriders dominating, up 14-0. They've run 25 plays, Glenn, and BC only 4.
Yeah, no first downs for Nathan Rourke, surprise starter for the BC Lions. But boy, Cody Fajardo has looked outstanding. Farhan talked about Jason Moss's system. It's complicated. Fajardo confirmed that with us this week. He said he's trying to master this system. Boy, he looks sharp out of the gate in all of these drives, getting some success on first down with the run game and William Powell, and then using all of his weapons. Braden Lenius getting involved with a touchdown to start his campaign 2021.
Well, it really is the perfect storm, isn't it? Because not only do you have Riley not playing and a rookie Nathan Rourke being thrown into it, that defense is largely new and taking a while to gel. And really being tested early on now as the second quarter begins in a 1st and 10. On the BC side of things. And Mitchell Picton has the catch. Thought he might go out of bounds, but he stayed in and he kept going. And another big first down as the Riders are pouring it on.
Mitchell Picton is starting at that wide side wide receiver route. When we talked to Craig Dickinson, head coach for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, he told us the competition with the Canadian receivers was as good as he's seen it in a lot of camps. And he thought that this could be the start of another Canadian Air Force situation with the Canadian content at the receiver position for the Saskatchewan Roughriders this year. Picton having a great camp. Lenius, draft pick Terrell Jana as well.
Kyron Moore. And more is the operative word when you're talking about the Saskatchewan offense. Down to the 10.
Mitchell Picton, the U of R, has had a tremendous camp. And he has really pushed Lenius. In fact, both of them getting a chance to start, and they're playing with that one extra Canadian, as Farhan mentioned off the top. But Terrell Jana, their second-round pick in the 21 draft, real excited with his upside. Lenius with a touchdown already tonight. You remember the Canadian Air Force?
Absolutely.
Getzlaff, Bagg,
Rob Bagg,
Claremont,
Jason Claremont,
Fantus.
Andy Fantus too.
There you go.
What a receiving corps. Great Canadian receivers. And that is Fajardo. And even though I jumped the gun talking about Braden Lenius being from Regina, born here but raised in Vancouver, Mitchell Picton's more of a local product and did play for the Rams. So they do have a lot of local content on their team. Their offensive line for the 5 starting tonight for Saskatchewan. From Saskatchewan.
Evan Johnson, one of them from the University of Saskatchewan.
Coming over from the Ottawa Red Blacks.
That's right.
Brett Boyko was with BC last year, now coming home. Dan Clark, of course, at center. Logan Furland, left guard. End zone, touchdown, Saskatchewan again, and it is Kyron Moore. And this is very quickly turning into a rout for the home side.
Well, you're right. The BC Lions starting quarterback tonight, Nathan Rourke's going to have to get at least a couple of first downs to give this defense a rest. That's just the underthrow to Kyran Moore. Anthony Chaffee, former Ottawa Red Black, getting there just a step late to hold him from scoring.
Lowther, 3 for 3 in the point after department. Kyran Moore, 4 yards shy of 1,000 in 2019. He's racking up yardage tonight and a touchdown there too as the BC Lions are under siege on this Friday night. Brett Bizan from Regina. Another winner, Save On Foods, $1 million touchdown to win. Thanks to that man, Kyran Moore.
Yeah, this is how they're going to use him. You're going to see, watch Shaq Evans come in, Williams Lambert come in, and then underneath all of that is going to be Kyran Moore. Stop it right here. Chaffee has got to get out over the bubble to cover him, and there's no way he can get there in time.
So Lowther to kick it off again, and back for Chris Rainey, and this one will come to James Butler, starting running back in the night for the Lions, with Rainey ahead of him, and good special teams coverage. Gary Johnson Jr. coming down to take Butler down, but everything has been on for the green and white tonight as Nathan Rourke comes out again.
First team All-MAC honors at Ohio. And when I asked Rick Campbell about Nathan Rourke's camp, he said, you know, go back. We should all go back and look at his college video. I mean, he very productive at Ohio, was a MVP of a bowl game. But just a real tough turn of events because it throws Nathan Rourke right into the fire. I mean, if you go back a couple of years, you remember when John Jennings and Travis Lulay for the BC Lions, they weren't sure who to start. Jennings was having some confidence issues. Lulay was nicked up and banged up. They put Jennings in at a young age, and he threw like 4 picks, right, and it affected him for most of that year. And that's the concern when you're starting a young guy like Nathan Rourke, that he's in a hostile environment right now.
The noise is really picking up here, but you're right. Can you imagine anything more hostile? Week 1 in Saskatchewan, and it is picked up by Nick Marshall. And into the end zone, Marshall goes. So just like that, put another touchdown on the board for Saskatchewan.
And just like that, it's a hit to the confidence of a young quarterback who showed great promise in camp, and he's got a long way to go and a long career to go. And as I mentioned, Rick Campbell feels like he's going to be a very good player and possibly a starter in the league in the future. But this doesn't help, and this is just a timing issue. He blindly throws it to the short side out, trying to get it to Lucky Whitehead. And Nick Marshall, you better be on time with the throw in Nick Marshall's area. One of the top DBs, one of the top covermen in the league, former quarterback at Auburn. He knows how quarterbacks think and can anticipate.
Nick Marshall has had 9 interceptions in his career. 4 have gone for touchdowns. Lowther had another one. That was a 27-yard return after the pick off Nathan Rourke by Nick Marshall. What a spot for the rookie QB to be put in. And the Riders have not been kind. Complete and utter dominance in Saskatchewan on opening night. To win, you got to like your chances the way things are going. Tara Stark, the latest winner, thanks to the pick 6 by that man. Nick Marshall used to be a quarterback in college. Got some good hands, too. He's shown that as a cover guy, and as mentioned, just about half of his interceptions in his career have gone for touchdowns.
Nice job of keeping the ball off the turf and not putting it in the hands of the officials to determine whether he made the catch or not. Twisted his body around so he could maintain possession. And no one around him to touch him down by contact, so he took it into the house, and Nathan Rourke's got to let that one go and regroup. Well,
the big story's been that man, Nathan Rourke, thrown in. after Mike Riley, who decided could not play because of arm soreness. It's James Butler on the return for BC. Lions in a huge hole. They're down by 28. So more in the Lions QB situation. Let's go back to Farhan.
Guys, before that last drive, Mike Riley put his helmet on, but he was nowhere near the offensive staff. Prior to that, when the defense was out there, he was getting some treatment on the sidelines, and it was interesting to watch Riley during warm-up. Prior to the main stretch period, they have what's called an easy up period, where their quarterbacks come out, they try to throw long balls to their receivers, just trying to warm up. They're soft throws, but they're long throws. He didn't take part in that period. Then when he got in for the 8-on-8 period, without the lineman with the first offense, everything he threw was very, very short, so you could tell they were trying to be cautious and tentative, and we see the results now.
Nathan Rourke 1 for 4 coming into this drive, make it 1 for 5. The coverage there. Luchez Purifoy bats it down for Saskatchewan.
So here's how you think if you're a defensive back, and we just saw Nick Marshall pick one. We've seen good play there on the crossing route by Purifoy, and as a defensive back with a young quarterback like this in his first start, you're starting to say he's going to throw on the first break. He's not going to hold the ball. He's not going to wait for his receiver to open up or double move you. He's going to throw on the first break so he can be real aggressive on that first cut by any of the receivers. We haven't even mentioned Brian Burnham yet.
And under pressure, and now he's taken down. Dion Lacey, newcomer in the middle, was there. A.C. Leonard was there, and down goes Rourke. So they've gone 2 and out, pick 6, and 2 and out again. And what an indoctrination in his CFL debut for Nathan Rourke in that BC offense.
Dion Lacey, and this is the other thing, as we mentioned when Rourke came first into this game, that now you're going to see Saskatchewan send the house. That's just a Mac blitz. Dion Lacey playing that middle linebacker, playing for a position for the departed Solomon Elamimian.
Jake Ford with the punt. He's had a busy first half, to the chagrin of the Lions. And on the return, it's Marcus Murphy who gets it up to the 40. MLS on TSN will continue tomorrow as Toronto FC will host New York City FC at BMO Field in Toronto. Coverage getting underway at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. MLS on TSN. Discussion on the sideline with the veteran Michael Riley and the rookie, his understudy Nathan Rourke, who's been thrown right into the fire in a way, in CFL terms, about as unimaginable as you could think. You're in a football-starved hotbed in a sellout stadium in Saskatchewan, and lots of pressure, and they're down. And this Rider offense has been relentless too, scoring on every possession they've had. A short gain there by William Powell.
Yeah, the offense for Saskatchewan looks sharp, and that has nothing to do with Nathan Rourke. I mean, although this defense now already is fatigued because those long drives that Fajardo puts together start to wear you down, and you're just a step behind.
The first game here since the Western Final in 2019. The Riders were the first-place team. The Bombers came in as a slight underdog, and they beat them. And a dramatic finish, too. Great goal line stand for Winnipeg. And the final pass in the final play, Cody Fajardo hit the upright, the crossbar, excuse me, and they lost by a touchdown in their chance to get to the Grey Cup.
Did Cody Fajardo hit his hand there? As he came away from that throw, looked like he was shaking his right hand a little bit. Oh, he's fine.
But it does allow us to bring up the subject of the backup, Isaac Harker. Paxton Lynch, former NFL quarterback with Denver in camp, and is the number 3. That decision had to be made. Who will back up Cody Fajardo? And given the lead right now, that may yet be a topic for discussion later on in the second half if this continues the way it is. And the punt by John Ryan. We finally see John Ryan punt a football, and there's the master of the returns, Chris Rainey. And Keenan LaFrance, special teams, brings him down with Micah Tights as well. All Saskatchewan at Mosaic.
That he is a Canadian growing up in Oakville, Ontario. The last Canadian to start for the BC Lions was Julio Caravetta up in the booth right beside us, Rod. Back in 1996, Damon Allen got hurt. Julio Caravetta, who is the radio color man now for the Lions, and it's the last time a Canadian quarterback started for BC. Nathan Rourke got it tonight.
And a tough situation for Rourke to be put into. As mentioned before, though, Rick Campbell really liked the confidence of the young man. When given a chance, this is a pretty difficult one to be in. That's what Michael Riley had to say about his understudy, Nathan Rourke.
It's rare that you get a young guy that comes in and he's as polished, I guess, I would say, as Nathan is. I do believe that he's been coached very well in the past. His mechanics are good and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of guys come in with good mechanics, throw a great football, throw a very, accurate ball. But then once they get behind the O-line and they start taking snaps, all that stuff kind of goes out the window because their mind's racing too fast, trying to figure out what they're seeing or what the progression is of the play and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, he's been really, really solid.
Procedure, BC number 67. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Hunter Stewart flagged for that one, so he pushed back to a 2nd and 13 now. But interesting what Michael Riley had to say about the young man who I'm sure they were hoping to introduce him to this league under different circumstances than this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the first winner of the John Cornish Trophy, top Canadian football player in the NCAA back in 2017. And you heard Riley talk about how impressive he's been in camp. But man, is it a different story when the lights are on and you're playing at the next level, grown men coming after you. And, oh, by the way, you're in a sold-out Mosaic Stadium, which makes it a little tough to get the signals called and the ball snapped.
Well, you're not kidding. And we saw movement from Garrett Marino of Saskatchewan, but it looks like it's going against BC again. They're still pointing in each direction, no? We get that 5 yards back.
Offside. Saskatchewan number 92. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
So it goes back to 2nd and 8, but still no first downs on the night for Rourke and that BC offense. Tough night, down by 28.
In the Canadian college draft, you usually, you're looking at offensive linemen. We've seen a lot of receivers come out of late as U Sports. Boy, they come out pro ready more and more every year. He's a 2nd-round pick, Rourke.
Whistled down again.
Procedure, BC number 67. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
So just like 2 plays ago, Hunter Stewart, veteran guard, getting flagged for the procedure. So back and forth we go in these 5-yard penalty exchanges.
Yeah, and really no excuse for this. Usually when your backup is forced to play due to injury, there's a cadence issue because the number 1 has taken all the reps with that starting O-line. But that's not an excuse for the Lions because Nathan Rourke has taken a lot of reps with Riley on a pitch count. I mean, he's had that elbow issue through training camp. Very frustrating for him, so he's been on a pitch count, hasn't taken near as many reps as he normally would, and Nathan Rourke has. So the O-line should know his voice.
A frustrating night so far for Rick Campbell in his debut as the head coach of the BC Lions. So Sup Chung, the right guard number 65, has to come off the field because he's bleeding. David Neville, 66, will go in to take his place for the Lions. And Chung is furious.
He's not happy. He's just leaking a little bit, and he's saying, hey, who cares? I want to stay out there. This is just safety protocols for all the players around him as well. So he has to go out, but he's not happy about it. Boy, this O-line has taken all the stuff that's been talked about him for over 600 days very personally. Now they've got a young guy behind him. They got to even take it up another notch.
Chung could only play in 8 games. He was hurt much of 2019. And a quick toss there to Brian Burnham. And up over the 35. Not enough for a first down, though, and once again, the Lions will be punting.
I think that's the first catch for Burnham, if I'm
first time
not mistaken. And there's a Perennial 1,000-yard receiver that just can't get involved.
That says a lot right there, too, doesn't it? On the punt. Marcus Murphy takes it. Has a good return going. Cross midfield, down inside the BC 50.
Yeah, I was wondering about the hand on that last throw when the Riders came off the field last. Let's take another look at it. He follows through. He did get a helmet. And that's the concern now. And that's really what Craig Dickinson has to start to weigh. You know, it's so new in the season, shortened camp, no preseason. You want your starter to get as many reps as he possibly can, but with a huge lead like this, you can get your number 2 in there and save some hits.
And he uses that hand to chuck it deep. Coverage there by Harden. Tight coverage with Kyron Moore, the intended receiver, down inside the 5. To follow up on your point, it's certainly the way the Rider defense is playing against a young quarterback. Not as much concerned with a 28-point lead right now.
Just straight go route for Kyron Moore, testing the young DB. 24-year-old Keontae Harden. Well, I'm going to enjoy calling his name this year because that's one of my favorites.
Like a nice Keontae, do you?
Yes, I do.
Second down. Nice. Leads to a first down.
See, these are important reps, too, though, for Cody Fajardo. That's Williams-Lambert, and that's a nice timing throw across the middle into traffic in a window. And these ones just build your confidence. I don't care how much experience you have or how many awards you've won. This is a throw that builds your confidence. Quarterback, receiver, entire offense.
4:28 in the clock until halftime. A half thoroughly dominated by the Saskatchewan Roughriders over the BC Lions. In week 1, going left. William Powell, and just out of bounds on that first down carry.
Well, it's tough to say what you can, really now ask the BC Lions. I mean, defensively, they're going to have to play their best game to get back into this. Come together quickly. That's where TJ Lee comes in, and I'm sure he'll be talking to the entire group.
Second down, swinging it out, it falls incomplete. Intended for Powell there. So the last time they had the ball, they had to punt for the first time in the game, and this time the drive does stall in field goal range for Brett Lowther. See if they can add 3 more and make it a 31-0 domination in this first half. Lowther himself, an interesting story, a 39-yard attempt here. Played for Hamilton in 2013 and then wasn't able to crack a CFL roster again for another 5 years. It's been a fixture now for the Saskatchewan Roughriders from 39 out. Yes, indeed, 3 more on the board. Saskatchewan now with a 31-0 lead with just a few minutes to go until halftime.
Great start in Winnipeg last night. Tonight sold out in Mosaic Stadium.
That is such a great sight, isn't it?
Yeah, great to welcome all CFL fans, not only in the stadiums as we go through week 1 in Calgary and in Edmonton, but also at home watching on television. Outstanding ratings from last night's game. Almost 700,000 people watching that first game of the season. I'm sure we'll have a big audience tonight.
Well, we talked to the coaches and a few players a few days ago, and the whole emotion of it wasn't lost on them either. I mean, a guy like Rick Campbell, Craig Dickinson too, talking about, even Mike O'Shea had been saying that it'd be difficult at times even getting choked up to think about a game that is near and dear to them, and so many other people didn't play for a long time. That's rooked a lucky one-hand, and just like that, the BC Lions finally have a big-time answer.
Boy, did BC need that, and did the young quarterback Nathan Rourke need that. I mean, this is huge for BC because you know that it can change in a hurry. Now, the odds are still stacked against this BC Lions football team with a quarterback in his first game, but a little hop step around Nick Marshall. Caught him looking back in the backfield, which happens to everybody, but I love the acceleration from Lucky Whitehead after he caught it, and he was well in behind Marshall, so he could have just strided in. He separated. I think Marshall kind of looked up and went, okay, well, we'll live to play another day next series. You got one. But that's going to be huge for Nathan Rourke. He needed something to just say, okay, we can settle down a little bit, go back to the basics. Got a big play out of it. We're on the board. Very nice.
Here we are late in the half. Their first points on the board and also their first down of the game happens to be a 75-yard touchdown pass from Nathan Rourke, the rookie, to Lucky Whitehead. So down 31-6, 25 points. They will see if they can add 2. Ball is incomplete. And there is a return coming back the other way, but I think that ball had already hit the turf. They whistled that down. So that is the 3-minute warning. And as bad as things have been for BC, just a little reason to be optimistic as they finally get on the board. Oh, thank you, Kate. Something I never said to Chazzy. That's Price is looking forward to the panel. Kate Burness at the half, and congratulations, Brenda Ogilvie. Save on Foods $1 million touchdown to win. And Lucky Whitehead, the first points on the board for the BC Lions. So a little bit of life, as Kate said. Marcus Murphy back there for Saskatchewan on that kickoff.
Rod, remember when I was talking about what DBs are thinking when you get a young quarterback in there in his first start? They're thinking of jumping that first cut, and they're trying to cheat a little bit because you can really pad your stats. Let's go back to it. Whitehead down the sideline, but watch Nick Marshall here just cheating, looking back at the quarterback on this double move. It's not really even a double move, it's a hop. Stop it there. See, he is looking back to see if the ball is being thrown now so he can get his second of the game. Meanwhile, Lucky Whitehead saying, I'm gone. I'm taking off, and he accelerates to the end zone. So the veteran corner thought he could get a second in the first half and cheated and lost there. Rolled the dice and lost.
First 4 possessions for Saskatchewan. Well, they did it the first 3, and they had the pick 6 as well. All touchdowns. The last 2 possessions, they had a punt, and then they ended up kicking a field goal. So as dominant as they are, slowing down a little bit. One of the touchdowns, Braden Lenius, and he's on the receiving end of that one for a gain of 9. So 2nd and 1, and they're in tempo right now. 2:33 on the clock until halftime. Handing off to William Powell on 2nd and long, and gets driven back. So is this Lions defense starting to get fired up now? It's Kamalu, Ufamba Kamalu on the tackle there, William Powell.
Yeah, two things. One is Nathan Rourke just got a confidence boost that he really needed on that long throw. 2, the defense feels it too. It trickles through the entire team when your quarterback makes it happen, and you see the big play, and you see that he's capable of it, and it gives you a little bit of hope, and then you go out and you jam the run.
Timeout, Saskatchewan.
That's why this game is the ultimate team game.
Absolutely, and the Riders do call a timeout on a 3rd and 2 situation as they look to add to their lead, keep a drive going. About 2.5 minutes to go until halftime. The half that, for the most part, has been just so thoroughly belonging to the home side in green and white. Cody Fajardo, 17 of 20, 167 yards and a couple of touchdown passes. So 3rd and 2. If they don't get this first down, the BC have a chance to inch a little bit closer. They are in Saskatchewan territory. It is William Powell, and he does get the first down. He got to midfield, so just enough to keep things going.
You expect in the second half, William Powell, maybe Keenan LaFrance, getting a lot of touches because you want to grind that clock when you have the lead, protect your players so you don't get any unnecessary injuries.
Boom Guacham, another player to watch for.
I think we just call him Boom. Let's just call him Boom. Yeah, Boom Guacham.
Boom there.
Boom Guacham.
Just Guacham. Gary Peters taking down Shaq Evans. And the Sticks will move again. Another first down. This inside the Lions 45. 2:07 to go.
Boom Guacham, by the way, was a receiver when he started college.
Now a very talented rush in. Falling down on catching that pass was Powell. So actually lost a couple of yards on that play.
You really worry about an injury there. You're kind of hopping for the ball to maintain possession. William Powell's trying to get to it, and he's down in that crunch position there, just on his knees almost, and then you know you're going to get hit. So now it's all kind of falling apart, and now he's just trying to protect himself a little bit. Hope he gets hit in the back of the pads there. And he's reaching for the ball as well, so his arm's in danger.
Second down and 13, and under pressure. This Lions defense is starting to really wake up now. Bolacombo is in there. There was a lot of heat. J.R. Tavai, Jordan Williams. And for the first time, they got to Cody Fajardo and forced Saskatchewan into a punting situation.
It's amazing what happens when your quarterback gives you hope. And I've said it many, many times. That's why it's such an important position, maybe the most important in all sports. And I'm considering goalies in hockey. But if your quarterback is clicking, the rest of your team believes, and they play at another level. And that one throw from Nathan Rourke has helped this defense.
It was Jordan Williams, the rookie, the top pick in the CFL draft in 2020, making his debut tonight. And a big play there. He was the first one to get to Fajardo and force this punt late in the half as Chris Rainey watches it sail into the end zone. And another point on the board for Saskatchewan to make it a 32-6 game.
Haven't seen Chris Rainey break out yet. But I was talking to TJ Lee, who knows Rainey very well. You know, when he finished in 19, he was being used on offense and maybe didn't. I think it took away. I guess what I'm saying is it took away from his special teams. And you know, he's such a dynamic returner. But TJ Lee said, you know, in camp, this guy has looked faster than TJ Lee, or excuse me, than he's looked in the past. And you know, when I think about that, and you think about Chris Rainey looking faster.
that sounds hard to do.
That's fast. Yeah.
And I think of him as a BC line. He's back this year. He was with the Argos in 2019.
Yeah, exactly. And when we was with the Lions, and he gets to the Argos, they were trying to use him both on offense and special teams. I think it leveled out his play, because it pulled him in two different directions. Some guys can get away with it, and sometimes you can spot play a couple of guys in different teams and things like that. But Rainey, they'll use him on offense too. If he gets back to that form early in his career in the return game, watch out, he can fly.
But said about Rourke too and his potential. He can run the ball. He did there for 10 yards and a first down and completes that one. Brian Burnham with just his second catch of this first half, and that one, hey, here comes BC. Another first down and just slightly into Saskatchewan territory with enough time. 47 seconds on the clock to at least get in to field goal position. Get this game a little bit closer. Lions are down big time, but they are starting to wake up on both sides of the ball. Rourke. Dominic Rhymes, his first catch as a BC Lion, former Ottawa Red Black.
And what they'll do at halftime, Rod, sorry for interrupting, what they'll do at halftime now is they're going to pare down the playbook a little bit. They already done that if Nathan Rourke had to play at any time in the game, but they're just going to focus in on the plays that he likes, that he feels more comfortable with. Yeah, and they have woken up a little bit here.
Tough sledding right there. Running back James Butler is met. Little sea of green and white. It'll be third down. 3rd and 2. And what would be a very long field goal try as well for the rookie Japanese kicker, Takeru Yamasaki.
From Osaka.
We're not seeing him yet on this third down. 15 seconds left. Looks like touchdown or bust for Nathan Rourke and BC.
Quick out, one more. They get down now. There you go.
Well, there, Rhymes, I stand corrected. They did have enough time with Rhymes to get out of bounds and see if they can bring on the field goal unit. 6 seconds to go, and we are about to see more history here. There he is from Osaka, Japan, one of the global players, one of two on this roster for BC. Jake Ford is the other, the punter. No Japanese-born player has ever scored a point in the CFL. Takeru Yamasaki will attempt to be the first, 43 yards away.
Think there's some butterflies?
Will it be introduced
first
as a game?
Yeah.
Like Nathan Rourke to be introduced in a setting like this for the CFL. Yamasaki to put 3 on the board for BC. Oh, he just
tucked it in the corner. That's great to see.
Yamasaki, first kick, and he does just tuck it in to the left of that right upright.
He's excited about that. Good for him. Congratulations. He's still got a hill to climb, but first kick and first points in pro football. Nice job.
Yamasaki. And some congrats from the Australian punter. Some Canadians and Americans there as well in this for this global player. 3 more on the board. The Lions have a lot of work to do, but they got some life as we go back to Kate Burness in the panel.
It's Friday night football. Yeah. Boys are all here gonna put on a show. Come on.
Rick Campbell's Lions fell behind 28-0. It is now 32-9 Saskatchewan at the half. Here is the head coach of BC with Farhan Lalji.
A little doubt in the last couple of days that you thought Mike Riley was playing tonight. What happened?
Yeah, he just didn't respond to the treatment we thought that he would get and that he'd be good. We did it a few days ago and it worked well. Just not comfortable right now, and we want to do what's best for the team and best for him. And right now it's playing Nathan.
What's the bigger concern, having a rookie quarterback in this environment, or how your defense played in that?
Well, yeah, we got to help ourselves out. All 3 phases, we got to fight back. We showed a little bit of life, but we got a long way to go. I'm very interested to see how we respond.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
A tough debut for both the head coach and the rookie quarterback, Nathan Rourke. Rick Campbell's first game as head coach of the BC Lions. And Rourke just thrown right into the fire immediately when we found out as the Lions were to take the field for the first offensive possession that Mike Riley was not good to go, and that Rourke indeed would be the quarterback as Riley's still on the sidelines. And you got to give some credit to Rourke.
The way that Mike Riley
Is he going to be coming in? They're getting the ball.
I think Rourke they both warmed up like they were going to play. Rick Campbell in that interview with Farhan didn't say that it was going to be Riley or that was a chance, but not surprising, and it is going to be Mike Riley. So I'm not sure if the team's not communicating with their head coach or if this is just up to the quarterbacks to decide. There was a quick discussion there, and he said, let's go.
Well, this is, for the second straight half, this is a surprising development for BC quarterbacks because we had every reason to assume that Michael Riley would not play tonight, and that man, Nathan Rourke, would be continuing. And that Lion offense was starting to show momentum. Big touchdown pass from Rourke to Lucky Whitehead, and a try for a late field goal by their new kicker, Yamasaki, and throwing a short one on first down. How many short passes will we see if Michael Riley tries to loosen up? Lamar Durant on the receiving end.
But Rod, here's the issue. I mean, Rick Campbell just said they have to think of what's best for the organization and best for the health of Mike Riley. what changed in that 10 seconds from there to the sideline where now it's okay that Mike Riley plays? You either are or you aren't, and he's going to be second-guessed big time for what happened here with regards to this quarterback situation tonight.
That pass wobbled in, but it was completed to Brian Burnham and a first down. So quickly a first down for this Lions offense that did admittedly really struggle in the first quarter and a half.
Sure did. And this game is not over yet. And there's football to be played. But this is game one. This is game one of a 14-game season. And I'm not sure this is the right decision.
Once again, the pass wobbling a bit. Not a lot of steam on it, and A.J. Hendy nearly had the pick.
See, because Riley's issue is his elbow, and his elbow on his throwing arm. So now he's out there, and when you get in the game, you can't control it now. Now you're not like practice where you're trying to, take it easy, warm it up. You've got to just rip it if you see defenders around, and that becomes automatic. So, the chances of him injuring himself further increase tenfold when he's on the field like this. And okay.
Saskatchewan's crowd noise increasing too on the 2nd and 10, completed but not enough for a first down. Not even close, down to around the Rider 50.
And I love his toughness, don't get me wrong. I mean, and this is one of the toughest quarterbacks to play. I mean, I put him right up there in the Matt Dunnigan category as far as toughness in quarterbacks. And I'm sure he begged to go on, and I'm sure he said at halftime to the coaching staff, I'm going. Let's see if we can rally here. The kid played okay near the end of the second half. Let's leave him with that and let me go back in. But
well, they got closer to the first down at 3rd and 2, and there is movement and flags coming out with the Riders crossing the line in a scrimmage. A.C. Leonard, Luchez Purifoy.
Offside. Saskatchewan number 6. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
And so the drive does continue for Michael Riley and the BC Lions. A surprise to start this second half. The surprise in the first half, of course, was that he wasn't going to play, and now he is. And he's got something going, admittedly. And BC carrying some momentum from late in the first half, getting 9 points on the board, down 32-9. Let's see. Riley to throw again under pressure, and down he goes. Riley is sacked. Taken down by Garrett Marino, one of the newcomers on that Saskatchewan defense.
Garrett Marino laying right over the center, just bull rushes his way to his first sack. Talked to Micah Johnson about Marino during the week, and I love what he said. He reminds me of me. If he's anything like Micah Johnson, even close to Micah Johnson, they've got a good one. They've got a keeper.
Let me tell you about his pro day at the University of Alabama, Birmingham in the second year. Riley dumps it off. That's James Butler, and a good gain after the catch down inside the 30. So it continues for BC. Garrett Marino at his pro day in 2020 at UAB did the 225 bench press. He repped it 41 times, and he ran a 4.8940, and he's not exactly a small guy. He weighs 290.
He's gonna have to run fast to catch James Butler. That was some quickness in the open field. You do see the difference, though, don't you, when Mike Riley steps on the field? I'll give him that. I mean, you can see the leadership. You can see everybody just takes it up and need a little bit more hop in their step.
And he's throwing again on first down. First possession Lions in this second half. And another short pass completed again. And it is Butler again inside the 25.
But again, with that elbow, it looked like he had Lamar Duran, who we haven't talked much about, on a seam route right here. And it looked like to me that Mike Riley was hesitant to make that throw. He was trying to go right down the middle. He looked at it, and he would have had to knife that about, 40 yards to get it to Lamar, and he just decided not to. I mean, he's trying to manage his arm in the middle of game action, it looks like, and that can be trouble.
Most 3 short passes so far for Riley on this drive. 2nd and 4, BC. And looks like procedure on the waggle. Lions receivers going early, and they blow that one dead against BC.
Offside. BC number 16. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
I think you chalk that one up to a sold-out stadium. They amped it up there. The volume got turned up, and I just think Burnham might have missed the count.
Clearly over the line of scrimmage before the snap of the football. So
when you play here, when you play in Winnipeg, the opposing team's going to get 2 or 3 of those every game. You just might as well count on it. You just hope they're not at the wrong time when you throw a touchdown pass.
But still, the Lions are in scoring range to start the second half. 10th play of the drive. BC, Riley, under pressure again, and that one wobbles away to Dominic Rhymes. On the far side of the field, and down inside of the 25. Not enough for a first down. 2nd and...
Yeah, Mike Riley is having problems in that. When you see that throw and that release, and watch the wobble, and then he takes that hit right underneath the elbow. I mean, Mac Henry, again, another guy who's had a real good camp. Got him right in the ribs.
31-yard try now for Takeru Namasaki. First Japanese-born player to score a point in the CFL in the history of the game. That was in the first half. He did score a point there, but just the one on the missed field goal. So basically comes for naught. It's 32-10, still Saskatchewan in front.
$1 million touchdown to win. We want to give you a reason to celebrate. And now we're making it even more exciting to shop your favorite products, like Pepsi 12-pack soft drinks. Get in the game. Shop Save On Foods today.
And good news for football fans. The CFL is back.
It's a brand new day, ready to play. In the cool of the night, ready to fight. In the heat of the summer, familiar sound, feeling the air, it's the best thing anywhere. Just give me back my game. 'Cause I live for the drama, I live for the crowd, I live for the emotion. No one can take me down, bring me back my football.
Subway introduces new potato bun sidekicks. Soft potato buns made with Canadian potatoes, stacked with quality ingredients. New potato bun sidekicks. For a limited time, get any 2 for $5.
In 2019, Cody Fajardo emerged as the leading passer in the CFL. What's he doing for an encore? Suits? Not bad so far.
Not bad. First half, 19 of 22, 175, 2 touchdowns, one to Braden Lennius, the new Canadian receiver. Well, not completely new to the team, but in a prominent starting role this year in 2021. And, you know, I thought the numbers were bigger. I thought he had more than 175 in the first half, but it was precision in the passing game.
They scored touchdowns in their first 3 possessions, then added a pick 6, led 28-0. Now 32-10 after the missed field goal single for BC after an impressive drive led by Mike Riley coming in to start the second half. That's Marcus Sales in on the tackle and a loss of about a yard for Saskatchewan on that play.
Marcus Sales in there at free safety, and I'm always interested to watch guys that have played. It's kind of like Coach Orlando Steinauer in Hamilton. He, you know, the head coach now, but when he was a player, he started as a corner. He played some halfback, played some dime, and then he kind of migrated to safety. And when he was at safety, all of that skill set came together.
On the 4-man rush, getting it away to Jordan Williams-Lambert. The second half possession for the Riders, still very much in control, but not enough, quite enough for a first down. About 3rd and 1, getting closer to midfield, up around the 45, as they do come off. And the punting team will come on, and John Ryan, who had a pretty quiet time, 1 punt in the first half. The veteran from Regina, played for the Rams, started his CFL career in Winnipeg before a long NFL career with Green Bay and then Seattle, and then finishing up that career at age 39 and still said to be in great shape. Standing back to punt for the second time in this night, John Ryan at his 30. So Riley and the Lions to get the ball back here in the second half, down by 22 points. Chris Rainey taking it, flag down on the return, and inside the 35. Mike Riley started the second half, didn't play at all in the first. This is Friday Night Football presented by The Brick. Back at Mosaic in Regina, Mike Riley led a good drive in his first playing time in this game. Nathan Rourke, the rookie, had played the entire first half because of Riley's sore arm, but has decided to give it a go. The last drive only led to a single. So good field position to start, just inside the 50. Now you see that ball hang up.
He doesn't
he still completes it to Dominic Rhymes, but there's not a lot of zip on those Mike Riley passes, and that was really the longest one, easily the longest one he's tried to throw tonight.
No, this is, I mean, Dominic Rhymes, he comes back and makes a play downfield, but that's Riley tried to get it on the deep corner route, and he was way short. He tried to muscle that. This is, I don't know.
Does make you wonder, but they, for now anyway, on a 31-yard gain, get it down to the 30. Riley's still in there. And handing off this time, and that's going nowhere. Coming into break on that is Keon Adams, new defensive end for Saskatchewan.
What you're doing for Saskatchewan's defense right now, you've scouted Riley, and you've seen that the deep ball is probably not part of his arsenal. And so he's not going to be able to throw it behind you. Now defensively, your back end, your safety, your corners and halfbacks can start to tighten up closer to the line of scrimmage. Linebackers get underneath those curl routes, those shorter routes, close to the push routes as quick as you can, because the deep route doesn't seem to be in his playbook.
Lost yardage, second and long, and that one, once again, not much zip on it. Ed Gainey's the closest to it as it hits the turf, and it's third and long, and another field goal situation for Takaru Yamasaki, who's 1 for 2 on the night.
Boy, Mac Henry put a big hit on Riley.
Takaru Yamasaki, a 40-yard try. He had one late in the first half. From Osaka, Japan, global player for BC, make that 2 for 3. So 3 more points on the board for the Lions, who cut this to a 32-13 lead. They are the Lacombo brothers. Bo, an established veteran in the CFL. Nelson, one of the top picks this year in the CFL draft. Unfortunately, no reunion on the field tonight. Let's go to Farhan.
Yeah, this was the first time the two of them were actually supposed to play in the same game. They're 8 years apart in age, so obviously they never played together in high school or in youth football. And predictably, Bo was Nelson's idol growing up. Paseko in British Columbia was an absolute prodigy when he went through the high school ranks. And at the time, many people felt that Nelson was supposed to be the same kind of player. And the one big advice that Paseko gave him was, be your own guy, have your own journey, don't feel like you've got to live up to me. But this was the first time this summer during the pandemic that the two men actually worked out together with the same goals in mind. And then when Nelson eventually got injured, it really broke Bo's heart because he knew just how hard he worked to get to this point. Interestingly enough, Nelson got taken 2nd overall. Paseko got taken 21st overall. He was actually ranked 1st back in the 2013 draft year, but he went lower because many people thought he'd wind up in the NFL. So 2 men who really support each other very well, and Bo can't wait to work together again in the offseason as Nelson gets ready for year number 2.
It's quite a story, Farhan. Thank you. And yes, and just bizarre as well, Suits, at the start, just before training camp, that 4 players suffered Achilles injuries, including Nelson Lacombo. So unfortunately, putting a wrench in the plans for his rookie year. And some trouble off the snap. for Cody Fajardo. So lost yardage. It's 2nd and 11, Saskatchewan.
Well, Big Brother Bo can hit, I'll tell you that. And I'm wondering, and when we do get a chance to see Nelson play, and if he's even half as physical as his brother. Remember this against the BC Lions when Bo was the...
Oh, my goodness.
It was a legal lower the shoulder, run through, Mackey hit. That's a fullback / running back for the BC Lions, and Bo Lacombe, I remember that one in 19. One of the best hits of the last, 2-3 years.
And that was his only year in the CFL when he wasn't with the BC Lions. And who does he do it against? The BC Lions when he was with Montreal.
But you're right. That was another story of in itself with when you think about those 4 players that went down, one of which was Larry Dean, right. Freddie Bishop, Nelson as well, all with Achilles injuries.
And they lost another defensive lineman later, a few days later in Tim Williams. Nelson Lacombe, though, not playing now. But he has all the makings of being like Big Brother Bo. We'll be back.
I mean, that is the leader. That is the commander-in-chief of the Starship Enterprise. And we need warp speed.
Us older guys, we like that old original Star Trek series. I'm with you. Lucky Whitehead. With BC having the ball again.
Well, I'm sorry. There's no better commander of the Enterprise than James Kirk.
It's got to be Kirk.
Yeah. And the new Kirk is okay.
Chris Pine?
Yeah, I'm good with the new Kirk, but I get in the debate quite often, and I don't know why.
You wouldn't like a Captain Picard Next Generation type thing, right?
Exactly. No, and there was so many of them. Spin-offs, and yeah, exactly. And I'm thinking, no. Nothing like the original. James T. Kirk.
We agree on that. 2nd down. Mike Riley still in the game. You can see with every throw, not the tight spirals that you might normally see from Mike Riley, but he is completing passes, and that one for a 1st down.
Well, yeah, and you did notice the difference, and you did notice the leadership. But I thought that there was some real good that we saw from Nathan Rourke. And Nathan Rourke, the first Canadian to start for the Lions since '96, and Julio Carvalho showed you it's a big deal. I mean, this is a story. Nathan Rourke starting this football game as a Canadian quarterback in our league.
And he struggled at times, definitely, but he did not look intimidated.
No, he didn't. And that's what I mean. He had bounced back from it. And everything I heard about training camp with him and what we heard from Mike Riley on the telecast was that he does have that great composure well beyond his years. I mean, let me show you what happened to him. So he walks out. He's a late starter. He had to have been told at some point that it was possible, so he's preparing himself. His eyes probably big as a deer in the headlights. He gets in there and he throws a pick. Throws a pick pretty early in the process, and Nick Marshall scores. Keeps an even keel, takes a look at the video, comes back, he steps in and throws to Lucky Whitehead. Touchdown late in the half. Again, pretty even keel, and that's going to serve him well. Bouncing back from adversity, keeping yourself calm, even if it's good or bad, doesn't matter. Ride that roller coaster, try and flatten it out a little bit. I thought he was making good steps forward. Now, obviously, if Mike Riley can play, you want Mike Riley in the football game. Michael Riley. Well, you want Michael Riley in the football game, and we're going to work on that.
He's going by Michael now.
Yes, we're going to work on that.
And Mike Adam is the injured player for Saskatchewan. Jacob Dearborn coming into the game, product of Carleton University. Adam, veteran from University of Calgary, heading out injured, but that previous play, I want to give Michael Riley a chance here. How important is it to just run the football a little bit? Well, get some yardage.
There's still time to do that. Yeah, I mean, there's still definitely time to do that. But
yes, when you're down by 3 touchdowns, the time does come, and we are getting late in the 3rd quarter. And Riley, 9 for 11, throwing the football, and dumps it off there, and that falls incomplete. The closest receiver intended there for Lamar Durant. So 3rd down.
A lot of promise in this receiving court too. If Riley can get fully healthy, they've shored up the offensive line in BC, so they're better up front than they were in '99 with Riker Matthews, Joel Figueroa at the tackles, and Hunter Stewart, Soup Chung.
So healthy too.
Yeah, healthy, and Lamar Durant. I think he's ready to take that 1,000-yard-a-year step. Canadian receiver, the slot position. Of course, they got Byrne, we've talked about, and Lucky Whitehead is adding to that.
Wow. How's that for a perfect bunt by Jake Ford? Marcus Murphy elected to let it land and roll, and it went out at the half-yard line. So BC has hemmed Saskatchewan as deep as they possibly can. How about that?
Well, where do you go from here, though, I guess? No, that's outstanding. So the rookie kicker makes his first. Jake Ford. Yamasaki makes his first. Jake Ford.
From Victoria, Australia.
Yeah.
So the two global kickers they have on this
nails the corner on a punt.
He moved to the U.S. in 2016 to play football. And hem deep. Fajardo dumps it off to Jordan Williams-Lambert, who gets a few yards, but it'll still be second and long, and Saskatchewan close to its own end zone. Anthony Chaffee, who was with Rick Campbell in Ottawa, had a couple of years with the Red Blacks, went to a Grey Cup in 2018, now with the BC Lions.
Steps in and takes on the block, and then is able to put that hit on Fajardo. And I think if Fajardo could have that play over again, he'd get rid of the ball earlier. No need to take that hit.
So Fajardo will take this snap right at his goal line on a 2nd and 6, and a 22-point lead. Has time, but that time disappears. Will this be a safety? Waiting for a signal there as he's taken down right at the goal line, and now it looks like they'll just spot it outside.
Well, if they give him forward progress and he got outside the stripe, it looks like that's exactly where they're placing it.
Lions are calling for a safety where they'd get the 2 points and also get the ball kicked to them. But the discussion continues here, and it looks like based on that placement, the Riders will get a chance to punt it away.
Amazing how long we've been covering this game and been part of it, and yet new things come up all the time. And can this be reviewed?
Well, where he goes down, I mean, he has his progress there. Where he goes down, the ball, and a headshot too. By the Lions, rookie linebacker Jordan Williams. And that's what Craig Dickinson is talking about. Wants the headshot from Williams on Fajardo.
Yeah, it does fit the description that, a defenseless player, especially quarterback. And you don't necessarily have to be helmet to helmet to get a roughing the passer or unnecessary roughness penalty.
Saskatchewan is challenging for roughing the passer. We'll review the play.
Announcement from the referee, Tom Valesi, there. And that would certainly get them out of a hole if you can tack on 15 yards if this challenge is successful. Jordan Williams, the #1 pick in the CFL draft in 2020, playing his first game, making his CFL debut, and that hit right there.
Yeah, that fits the description. That's a penalty. It's a defenseless player. Now, the other thing is, it looked like Fajardo, with forward progress, was across the line, so it's not a safety. But I think this is going to be roughing the passer.
Waiting the word on the challenge with the ball still spotted inside the 1. Without a penalty, it's a 3rd down. Awaiting the word from Tom Balesi.
Well, Fajardo was not in the pocket.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. 3rd down.
I was going to say, when we showed it that many times in replay, Fajardo fighting for yards, running the football. You get the roughing the passer challenge is for that protection in the pocket when the quarterback is vulnerable because he's looking downfield and he's in the pocket. Once you vacate the pocket, then you become a runner, and as a runner, well, just ask any of them. You can be hit like that.
Does John Ryan punt it away here? The last 4 possessions. No, he's not going to. He's going to give up the 2. They had 3 straight 2-and-outs and giving up the safety here. So after all of that, it is a safety for BC, and they will get the ball back. 3-quarter time, so 2 more points on the board. Still a lot of work for the Lions to do, but they're not out of it as badly as they were. Still 15 minutes to play. Friday Night Football, presented by The Brick on TSN. We'll be back. The 3rd quarter stats here. BC is still down, and it's still Saskatchewan dominance, but not as much. A 32-15 game as the Lions are slowly crawling back. Michael Riley, though, surprising us to start the second half by playing. And 9 for 12 in the passing department, Glenn. 106 yards, but clearly those passes, not what we're used to seeing from Mike Riley.
No, news headline, Canadian quarterback starts in game 2 of the comeback season in the CFL. Nathan Rourke got the start, but he didn't get to play in the second half. Mike Riley with the bad elbow is playing. Clearly, the bad news is that he's putting strain on an injury and doesn't look like he's throwing it with the zip or even the deep. I think he hasn't thrown a deep ball yet or tried one and it was way short. And the good news is, though, the Lions have played better. I mean, for Lions fans, the good news is they've played better.
Their defense certainly has. As mentioned, 3 straight 2-and-outs for Saskatchewan, and most recently John Ryan giving up the safety to make it a 34.
Played better, but
32, I should say, 32-15. That score should read.
Yeah, and it played better because you put it in. You got to put it a little bit in context, though. When you're up 4 touchdowns, basically in the first half, it's just human nature to take your foot off the pedal a little bit, and the other team looks like they're improving, but Saskatchewan needs to turn it up. They've been able to shut them down.
They were just dominating in the first 3 possessions of the game, not doing as much, but their defense still doing things. A.C. Leonard. Tall, rush in and gets the hands up, knocking that down. And a 3rd down.
That's what I mean. Like, at times they've looked better, and Riley has moved the ball a little bit. Clearly, you could see his leadership made a difference, but when the Riders with their defense and when they need to in second down or when Riley gets into plus territory, they've shut the door.
Jake Ford to punt again. And a good punt towards the sideline. No chance at all for Marcus Murphy with a flag coming out.
Now you just give it to William Powell 20 times. See how much of that 1358 you can eat up.
Illegal punt out of bounds, BC. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
They got a good one, though. 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons for William Powell. 2 of those in Ottawa, of course. 19 in Saskatchewan. And as important as those running yards is his protection skills, because very, very good, solid in protecting him. And protecting the quarterback isn't just up to the O-line.
So, excuse me, a little too close to the sideline there for Ford on that punt and getting the illegal punt out of bounds. Fajardo. It's intercepted. And it's the veteran T.J. Lee with the ball. A big play for BC's defense and a big return here for T.J. Lee, who gets it up into Saskatchewan territory now. And a flag is down.
There is a flag. It looked to me that the Riders were offside.
Saskatchewan number 1. That penalty be declined. We have a turnover. First down.
Yeah, it looked like the Riders were offside. I think it was far side of the field, Shaq Evans.
So another break for BC. 32-15. They have the ball in Saskatchewan territory. We've been trying to call him Michael Riley tonight. Mike, no more. He wants to be called Michael. And here's Farhan now with an explanation why.
Yeah, Rod, the big reason for it is out of respect to his mother, Rhonda, who passed away this offseason, and she didn't like him being called Mike. She very much preferred his given name, Michael, and for Michael, it just brought back memories of when he was young, and he would get in trouble whenever he heard the full name, Michael. But now he really wants to do it out of respect because of how much it meant to her. She meant so much to him. Rhonda and husband Pat used to make their entire summers about coming up to BC, coming up to Edmonton, and watching every home game their son played. And they completely invested in the CFL. Not just their son's performance, but about the entire culture of it. He loved having his family around. He loved having his mother help look after his children at the games and work with his wife Emily on that. And, you know, it was difficult for him. He said that there were so many times that my mom was there, and I never really enjoyed those moments because I was so focused on my own performance. If we lost or I played poorly, I would be upset and not appreciate the times that she was there with me. And now he's making every effort this year to really appreciate and enjoy the moment. And you have to wonder if that played a part in some of his decision to come back into this game, realizing these opportunities now may come few and far between.
Thank you, Farhan. That's such an emotional time for the Riley family and Michael and his parents, his mother, his father coming to every game, as you talked about, that they could in Edmonton and Vancouver as well. So second and long after a botched play for Michael Riley. Completes that to Lamar Durant. This is what Michael had to say about what he'll miss so much about his mother, Rhonda.
I think after the game's over with, I call my mom and dad and talk to them about the game, tell them why I played so poorly or why we had success. And, it's going to be weird not to be able to have that conversation, but that's the way life goes and you got to just deal with it. So, we're pushing forward, but it's weird for sure.
And it's been a difficult night in football terms here for Michael, not playing in the first half, but trying to get something going in the second. It's 3-down football now. They're down 3 scores. And they're going for it on third down. Lamar Durant wide open, but does he complete that? Just comes down to Durant inside the 20. And that's remarkable because once again, the ball just floated in, and he's completed a couple of them like that tonight.
Not a real windy night. This is just his elbow, and he can't throw the ball deep, so his receivers are outrunning the throws, and now it's going to be close as to whether he got his arms underneath there. I think he did. He had both arms there. Call another play. It's a moot point now. Can't challenge after the play's run.
First time in the game they've scrimmaged inside the 20, and it's a big game there for Butler, who has enough for another first down and first and goal for BC.
Riley's just slugging it out.
Is that a catch? They hurried up to the ball.
He got his hands underneath it?
Yeah, it looks like he did.
Well, that's tough because you can't use the turf at all, but it doesn't matter because you can't challenge after a play's run.
And you saw BC hurry up to the ball before Saskatchewan would challenge. Didn't look like the Riders intended to anyway, and it stands as a big gain, followed by another one to make it first and goal, BC. 17-point game now. It was out of hand for a while. It could make it really interesting if they can get it into the end zone now. With Riley. Little shuffle pass. And it's Butler again inside the 5, second and goal. Touchdowns on offense for Saskatchewan. Nick Marshall intercepted Nathan Rourke. Took that to the house to make it 28-0. That's as big as the lead got for Saskatchewan.
And 2 downs from here for Michael Riley and the BC offense. Gotta come away with the major here.
He's looking at Burnham, looks over the middle. Butler, touchdown. BC is back in this game. James Butler making his debut. And making it because Shaq Cooper, the big free agent signing from Edmonton, is on the 1-game injured list. So Butler got the start.
Michael Riley uses his eyes and just his look to hold a linebacker just to freeze him long enough so he can dump that right over the middle. Dion Lacey's dropping. He jumps a crossing route. Edom can't get there in time. Big interception by TJ Lee. That sparks the drive, and Riley gutting it out. Can't throw the deep ball because of that elbow, but his receivers are still making plays for him. Lamar Durant came back. We saw Dominique Grimes come back for a deep one.
Yamasaki kicking his first conversion after going 2 for 3 in field goals tonight. Another one on the board, and it is a 32-21 game. 22, I should say, down to 10 points. Thinking of Rhonda Riley, his mother, Michael Riley, throwing a touchdown pass. James Butler with the touchdown for BC. Victoria Burton with the victory. And Savon Boots, $1 million touchdown to win. Congratulations, Victoria. And BC gets a little bit closer, down to a 10-point lead. 32-22 for Saskatchewan. At one point, the Riders were blowing them out, but 6 plays, 50 yards, in just under 4 minutes. And the Riders have run only 8 offensive plays this half. And here we are in the 4th quarter. And they might be starting to feel the heat as Keenan LaFrance standing back. Among those for the return, Marcus Murphy as well.
2-possession game with 9:17 to go. Oh, yeah, it's on. This is a big drive for Cody Fajardo and the Saskatchewan offense. Kind of stalled of late.
CFL's been away for a while, but we know that much. There's no way that changes. That's an eternity with just a 10-point lead. And it is Marcus Murphy on the return.
4 straight 2-and-outs for the Saskatchewan offense in the second half. So they've got to get it back in gear now. And it's really hard to, you don't want to be getting into that habit of flipping a switch off when you've got a big lead and then trying to flip it back on. But it's difficult. They're human beings that, you just can't. But this is a big drive. This is a big one for Jason Moss and the group. They got to get back in that groove and answer.
They could do no wrong in the first 3 possessions.
Got quiet in here, too. Sorry.
It sure has, yeah. I haven't heard that crowd pick up quite as much. A sellout crowd here at Mosaic. And inside it is Shaq Evans. And a good game.
So what does Jason Moss do in a crucial drive, Rock? He goes to a play they haven't run in the game. He says, let's mix it up and give them something they haven't seen yet. Real good start to a real important drive.
Up over the 50, so first down, Saskatchewan. Approaching the midway point of the 4th quarter.
Oh, look out.
Oh, nearly intercepted there by Gary Peters in coverage of Jordan Williams-Lambert. And the last points, the touchdown drive by BC came off a turnover when TJ Lee picked off Fajardo.
A little change motion there, and Williams-Lambert runs the out. Gary Peters read the man. He just dropped it. Wow.
So Fajardo nearly throws his second pick.
Baby.
Complete. And Shaq Evans could not hang on. And lo and behold, the Riders are punting again.
It is difficult. I mean, you get the big lead, and then you sort of put it on cruise control. And then all of a sudden, you've got to flip the switch back on, and it takes a second. It's like, okay.
Momentum is changing in this game. It was actually at one point 31-0. At one point a 31-point lead for Saskatchewan. Only 1 point since, 22 for BC. Punting it away is John Ryan. Instead, Rainey picks it up with no yards.
Well, Rod, it's, before we get to what could be a good finish, I want to just take a moment that COVID-19 has affected everybody, and including this community and this province. Warren Woods, a longtime Regina broadcaster, passed away in January as a result of complications from COVID. And Woodsy was a rock star in this province. I mean, he loved his curling, he loved his Toronto Maple Leafs, and he loved covering the Saskatchewan Roughriders from as far back as when, I was a rookie and I got to know him very well. A great friend, a colleague. He was just a rock star in this province. So our condolences to his kids, Nicole and Chris, and his family, and all of his friends. And that includes an entire province and a whole bunch of people in the country.
Absolutely. I didn't know him the way you did. I only would meet him coming to Rider games. And an infectious smile and positive personality. A great guy to talk football with, to talk sports with. And a big loss to the Saskatchewan sporting community locally. The momentum swing. Can Riley take advantage? And that pass for Shaq Johnson gets tipped, and it could have been worse with Riders. Nick Marshall, who already has a pick six in this game, Ed Gainey, all around it.
Well, the defense got the message. They thought, okay, because they're flying around there. A couple guys had a crack at it. Gainey, Marshall, big down.
Riley, 13 of 18 now for 147 and a touchdown in this second half. He didn't play in the first half. As you can tell by watching him throw, there's not much zip on his passes. His arm is sore. And
gotta get the ball. Can't do it.
Going to be a time count violation. It is. So
he tried.
More frustration for BC.
Rod, he tried, man. He could sense it. The crowd got into it again. He's been here before. In fact, the BC Lions haven't won here in Mosaic since 2016, October. They have struggled here. And he felt the crowd, the volume get turned up, and he tried to rush it at the line of scrimmage. He was yelling to Peter Godberg, come on, let's go.
Time count violation. BC number 13. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
I mean, he knows what this atmosphere is all about. Been here many times as an Edmonton Eskimo or as a BC Lion. He's trying to get it. Just before that, he was rushing them.
Steps out and completes it again, and it's Lucky Whitehead again. A big first down for BC. 6:49 on the clock.
That was one of his most accurate throws of this game tonight with his elbow issue, and he kind of kept his arm in front of him because he was throwing on the run to that spot. Pocket broke down, so he got outside. Hits Lucky Whitehead, and he can do the rest. A little bit of damage after the catch. There's a lot you could do with Lucky Whitehead. A little hit screen action, pitch and go.
Well, it worked late in the first half. He had the big play, 75-yard touchdown that started to get BC back in this. Another pass that hangs up
they
there.
Keep coming up with one.
Completed. Mike Riley is completing these passes that, when you look at them coming in, they look like they have no business being caught, and Lamar Durant comes down with that.
That's 3 or 4 now. We've counted since Riley has come in that he can't be his normal accurate thrower, so he's just kind of putting it in a spot and he's letting his receivers make plays, and they are.
Are they ever? And the bottom line is Riley is completing passes, and some big ones here. BC on the move. A better pass there for Durant, and that one falls incomplete with a flag once again down on the field. The Lions pointing Saskatchewan's way.
I will.
Illegal contact. Saskatchewan number 11. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So they get Ed Gainey on that coverage, the intended receiver Lamar Durant. And a first down for BC on the move.
Gainey doesn't like it. There he is right there. It's on Lamar Durant, steps up. A little bit of grab of the towel. I think he wanted...
It was a 31-point game. It's now a 10-point game. BC trying to inch closer. And Riley off to the left to Dominic Rhymes.
Well, let's show you what we're talking about. I mean, right now, Mike Riley has gotten it out. And when he tries to throw the ball deep, he's really struggling, trying to just strong-arm it and force through that injury. And his receivers are coming back to these balls that are way short. Lamar Durant a couple. Dominic Rhymes one, and there's another from Lamar Durant. I mean, he's gutting it out. Got him in scoring range.
2nd and 6. Looks left again, completes to Burnham again, and a first down again. BC still moving. 4:52, under 5 minutes to go now in the fourth quarter.
Boy, does it add to the Mike Riley resume if the Lions can find a way to come back and win this football game. They could score twice here in 4:34. The legend continues.
2 incredible stories involving him. One that he didn't play, and the second that he did. Over the middle, nearly intercepted. Here's it picked up. Bobbled around. Finally comes into the hands of Blaze Brown. And a discussion ensues, but it looked deflected. It looked like it was going to fall to the turf. And Blaze Brown ends up coming up with it. They'll review it. We'll talk about it when we come back. Is this a turnover? Dion Lacey off his hands. And there's your answer. Went into the hands of Blaze Brown, but what do you think, Suits?
Yeah, I think that clearly hit the turf,
Yeah.
and that's going to be called an incomplete pass by Mike Riley.
Here's Tom Balasi.
After review, the ruling is an incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd down.
Good effort by Dion Lacey. Had a chance, tipped it up, and then he just didn't get his hands under it. And once it touches the ground like that and bounces up, it's incomplete. So Riley will get 2nd down, 2nd and 10. And remember, down by 10, and a field goal gets him to 1 possession. So he doesn't need to force it here.
And the crowd is picking up too. Lots of noise here at Mosaic. And a big 2nd down. Riley, couple of pump fakes. And finally just slips it off. And closest receiver is Lucky Whitehead. So that field goal situation you talked about, Glenn, has come up now for Takaru Yamasaki, who's 2 for 3.
You get it to 1 possession is the goal here for Rick Campbell. So there's some nervous pacing when Dion Lacey dove for that first down throw and then overruled on review. A little pressure on the new kicker, Yamasaki.
With a big field goal at the end of the half. 37-yard try. Takaru Yamasaki to get it to a 1-score game.
Pushed it.
He pushed it wide right. And Murphy has it. And will run around a bit and give up just the 1. So it remains a 2-score game and a 9-point Saskatchewan lead. Coverage of the 4th and final World Golf Championship gets underway tomorrow from Memphis, Tennessee. The world's top golfers compete at the FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Catch the 3rd round beginning at 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on TSN and CTV2. Isn't it great to see fans back at a football?
Isn't it? And boy, they start them young here. Green jerseys on some very cute babies.
Yamasaki 2 for 4 in the field goal department. That one hurt, that miss.
Yeah.
Because it remains a 9-point game. But Saskatchewan's offense has to get moving. How about this number? In the first half, In first downs, the Riders at 19, BC only 4. In the second half, BC 12, Saskatchewan 1. That's it, just one first down. Cody Fajardo, outstanding start to this game. 3 straight touchdown drives. And he has Shaq Evans there up at the 40, so a good gain on first down. It'll be second down and about 4 yards. 2nd and 5.
What a big miss.
Timeout. BC.
Big miss.
And the timer, please reset the clock to 3:09.
On the field goal, and Rick Campbell wants to get those extra seconds. He wanted to call that timeout just before the warning.
What a night this has turned out to be, and a lot more drama than we thought there would be. The way it started, 31-0 for Saskatchewan in that first half. A much lower scoring game to start off this long-awaited CFL season. The last night in Winnipeg, and a very emotional night as well, with the Bombers, the defending champions, beating the Hamilton Tiger Cats again. And tonight, what looked one-sided is certainly not one-sided now. Getting close to 3 minutes and the warning, and Saskatchewan trying to get another drive finally going here in the second half. Shaq Evans and the sticks do move. A first down for the Riders up across the 45.
Victor Gamboa couldn't get around Evans. Ran that slant route, and because the ball was thrown right into the midsection, see Gamboa, he can't get around there to get his hands on the football without interfering with Evans.
So we do have a 3-minute warning now. Saskatchewan's on top, but not by nearly as much. We have a finish. Friday Night Football on TSN is proudly presented by The Brick, saving you more.
Well, a lot of people are excited about Bill C-218, aren't they, Rod? That be able to bet very soon on CFL games. Not sure exactly when. Got to get that all sorted out, but the bill is passed, and the spread here tonight was 7.5.
Well, which looked extremely safe when it was 31-0.
If Yamasaki makes that field goal, they cover. Wow. No matter what, whether they win or lose.
And Shaq Evans drops that one. And so it's second down and 10, and dangerous 2 for Saskatchewan, and Cody Fajardo cannot take anything for granted here. With the missed field goal, it's still a 9-point lead, so the Riders still very much in control. Under 3 minutes to go, but if the drive stalls, and a lot of them have in this second half especially, we will see if Michael Riley and that Lions offense has something left in store. That one's completed over the middle. Mitchell Picton, and good work defensively afterwards.
Oh, late flag. Oh, now they're swinging.
And this could get messy for BC after it looked like they had them to a third down at about midfield. What happens now? Could be a very costly penalty as they still exchange words.
They're calling it third down, so
it's a big penalty the other way. Big for BC.
Retaliation, possibly?
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Saskatchewan, number 67. We'll apply that after the play. 15-yard penalty, be third down.
Dan Clark, the center, is called for that.
Is he cruising?
They completed the pass to Picton.
See, Chaffee was an aggressive tackler. Sorry, Rob, but he goes for the head here, and this is where I think Dan Clark came in and started cruising. Now, the officials didn't get that high grab across the head from Chaffee, and Dan Clark somewhere in there in the retaliation. They always get the second one, although there could have been 2 penalties there.
The bottom line, it works out for the Lions, though, who should have good field position on this John Ryan punt. Chris Rainey, the lone one back for BC, standing inside his 25. It's a beautiful punt by Ryan. My goodness, does he have a leg? That solves that problem for Saskatchewan in field position. Wow. And another point on the board to make it 10 again. John Ryan, age 39 and a long career
Man,
You want distance.
great ambassador, too. He really is.
Yeah, he came to the right guy.
Loves the province. Wanted to play here even after his time in Seattle. And he launches it. And there were some, and I think mostly in the media in 19 that were saying, you know, he kicks it too far.
Well,
No, but what I mean is they were in fairness, they were saying he needs to angle it out and kick it into the corners a little more and all that. And I'm saying, hey, if your problem with your punter is he kicks it too far, you got a good problem. I'll take that.
well, they will take the point here, and it's out to the 35, although a 10-point game again for Riley. Better looking pass there to Dominic Ryan, better looking pass from Nathan Rourke, who's back in this game. So not Riley, he's out of the game again.
It must have just given out. It must have got to a point where he couldn't get it done with that elbow.
So Riley, who didn't play in the first half, Rourke did, was 7 for 12, 137, and completes this pass. And BC up at their 53. Showing some poise, this Canadian rookie. And throwing on the move, it goes incomplete, intended for Shaq Johnson. Second down.
Yeah, I saw some good things. I mean, I saw some good things from Nathan Rourke. Exactly what the coaching staff, exactly what Michael Riley told us that he was doing in training camp and practice. And we've seen it unfold here in hostile territory. Riley comes on in the second half. Clearly the elbow just gave out on him. See how long that lingers now. But can Nathan Rourke create some magic?
He threw a pick six to Nick Marshall, but then he threw a touchdown pass to that guy, Lucky Whitehead, for 75 yards, beating Marshall later on. So Lucky's got him in business again, inside the Saskatchewan 40, led by Nathan Rourke. What does he have in store in these final minutes? .39-yard line, not over yet. Two-possession game. BC needs to score, and quickly, and that one's incomplete.
But again, they're down 2 possessions. So you're almost in that area. Now, obviously, as soon as you get in plus territory, the major is your first goal. But if you're now looking at 2 possessions and you need the field goal, you're watching the clock and deciding, do we take the 3 first and then try and get the onside kick going, get it back one more time?
Lots of energy from this crowded Mosaic. Making noise. And this guy, Nathan Rourke, is making noise too as he finds Brian Burnham. And they're getting close, down inside the 20 and a first down, 1:52 on the clock.
Best throw of the night for Nathan Rourke. He drives the ball through the window. Linebackers on one side, Dion Lacey, Ed Gainey on the other. Number 1 receiver right between the 1 and the 6.
The Canadian quarterback in the CFL is a rarity. We're seeing one work right now, looking into the end zone. Touchdown! Burnham!
Okay, I stand corrected. There's his best throw in this young career.
Wow.
He put it out there for Burnham to go get it, and he did. Why not in game 1 for Brian Burnham to add to the highlight pack? And he's got a long one. That's a full feature film. But I love the poise from Nathan Rourke on the sideline through most of this second half. Steps on, throws a strike in the curl to get the first down, and then drops it over the shoulder of Brian Burnham.
Win or lose, you mentioned that word poise. Think of what he's been asked to do. Start a game in the most hostile of territories. Coming out after a long break, all the excitement and emotion, and a big lead for Saskatchewan here at Mosaic.
Procedure, BC number 10, 5-yard penalty. We'll retry the convert.
They'll have to kick it again a little further out for Yamasaki. But win or lose, and we talked about this, we could see why Rick Campbell is so high on him. He seems unflappable right now.
And there is some pressure on that young kicker right now. He needs this extra point. And now is 10 yards back. Or excuse me, 5 yards back.
His two makes, the two field goals he made were outside the 40. The two he missed were inside the 40. Inside the 35. So, or excuse me, one was 37, one was 31 that he missed. So a big one, you're right. I mean, it's just a one-point convert, but it is huge at a 33-29 game right now.
Well, listen, this quarterback situation all night has been really messy, but when you think about it, the toughness of Riley to gut it out and get this team back in it, and then the young Canadian quarterback to put this drive together, cap it off, and if they can make the extra point, make it a 3-point game with time to go for an onside kick and another chance at maybe winning this one coming from way back to do it. And there's a little bit of motion from the young quarterback with the veteran right there to congratulate him, and Michael Riley.
And the big catch, the biggest of the night for Brian Burnham, their number one target, at just the right time. 33-29. And a big kick coming. A single-point conversion try for Takeru Yamasaki from Osaka, Japan. First Japanese-born player ever to score a point in the Canadian Football League. Doing that earlier tonight on a field goal in the first half. And
for a young kicker, Rod, those goalposts right now are narrowing as he looks at them.
And could there be an even bigger kick coming up if he does make this?
Exactly.
And they need a field goal to tie it and force overtime. Yamasaki with the penalty, a 36-yard conversion try.
No. He missed it
right again. And out comes Marcus Murphy. But it's a 4-point game with 1:33 on the clock. So after that touchdown drive, the Lions need another TD, and they need it quickly. They need to get the ball back. That's the first priority, with a short kick, I'm sure, coming, an onside kick.
You know, and he's a young guy, and he'll bounce back from it, but two misses crucial late in this game are going to weigh on him. Although J.R. Tavai, his teammate, didn't help the youngster when he was offside and procedure call. Gave him more time to think about this important kick. Welcome to pro football. It can be that quick. You're on top of the world when he made his first one, that reaction, and then in a split second you could be trying to figure out how you're climbing out of a hole, and that's exactly what he's doing right now.
Had been playing with the Obek Seagulls in the Japanese X League and impressed so much at the global camp. He was taken in the third round of this year's global draft by BC. Their punter, Jake Ford, was taken first overall.
Now they're set up for the onside kick. You've got Ford out there as well, and sometimes they'll try and cross, and so that Saskatchewan doesn't know which direction they'll go, although they're lining up right now like they're going to kick it here, obviously, but they can switch that up with Ford in the huddle as well. But, this is another kick that he's got to make. It's got to go 10 yards. It's got to bounce around so Saskatchewan can't recover it cleanly.
And what an indoctrination for a new global player coming to the CFL, faced with circumstances like tonight.
You get two kickers, and there it goes.
Didn't go quite the 10 yards, and it's Rider football anyway. They have the hands team out there to make sure.
And the hands team, the Riders, can catch it short of 10 yards. They don't have to wait for it. They just go after it. The Lions, if they recover it short of 10, it's Saskatchewan ball. So
Jordan Williams-Lambert, their slot back, coming in, and you're right, taking it before it went the 10 yards. And looking a little more academic now, although I shouldn't assume anything. I made a lot of assumptions when it was a 31-point game for Saskatchewan. They've only scored 2 points since then. BC has scored 29, 1:32 on the clock, and the Riders are certainly in position now to finally be able to wrap up this in their opening night. And a big return for the CFL this week, keeping it on the ground, letting the clock tick down. We're 125, excuse me, right now.
Post-game report and post-game discussions with Cody Fajardo and Craig Dickinson will sound a little bit like this. You know, we did some good things, but we've got a lot of work to do. Because the second half, you're right, they did stall big time. Credit to the BC defense.
Well, you don't know what to expect. I thought that last night, throwing there to Williams-Lambert. And taken down at the 40, under a minute to go now in this fourth quarter. But did any of us really know what to expect without a proper training camp, without preseason games? And there still have been some good plays, some sloppy things too as well that definitely need to be corrected. But this has to be a feeling out process early in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I've been impressed by the first drive for Hamilton last night, touchdown drive. Great. Jeremiah Masoli, yes, they struggled as the game went on. They had a lot of pressure from the Winnipeg defense. First for Zach Collaros, great drives, couple touchdowns early in that game. First drive and first couple of drives, 3 drives for Cody Fajardo tonight. Looked real sharp. You know, Nathan Rourke started this game for BC, so you see what they're capable of coming out of camp, and then with no preseason, that fatigue kicks in a little bit.
John Ryan. Legged over in punt, and this time trying to get it out of bounds, well inside the 10. And not give them too good a field position here. They walk it out to about the 13 with only 31 seconds to go. So it is miracle time now for Nathan Rourke.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's 3 plays, you know, maybe 4 if you're really efficient. You know that the Riders are going to drop their secondary deep. Can't let anything behind you here if you're Craig Dickinson's secondary. So they're going to drop, you know, 20, 25 off the ball and be backpedaling before when it's snapped. And then, so you think Nathan Rourke can, you know, 1-2 intermediate, maybe get to the 35, 40-yard line and then throw one up and see what happens.
Crowd picks up. On first down. And completes it to Burnham. A beautiful catch by Brian Burnham with a flag down in the Saskatchewan secondary. A nice throw again under pressure by Nathan Rourke.
Really, well, this is impressive. And the catch equally. I mean, he takes a hit as he steps into that. The ball is thrown out in front of Burnham again. Watch him go get it.
I don't think it's bad, but it's fucking
This guy. Contested catches, spectacular catches, #1 on the list. There's a lot of great receivers in this league, and we'll see a couple tomorrow in Edmonton. We'll see a couple in
Saskatchewan,
Calgary.
number 35. Point of foul, automatic first down.
We'll see some with, you know, across this league, but when you're talking about spectacular, one-handed, unbelievably acrobatic catches, #1, well, oh, did he catch it? It didn't look like he caught it.
Maybe we sang his praises a bit too soon.
Pass interference, that's why they moved it. Exactly. Point of foul, yeah.
So up to the 30. Time running out on Rourke. And a pump fake. Oh, gets it away and it's intercepted, and that'll do it. So Rourke throws another pick. In a night that did have some promising moments for him as well. It's A.C. Leonard and Joel Figueroa, the left tackle, consoling the rookie quarterback as he heads off with 19 seconds to go. A.C. Leonard. And Saskatchewan is going to win on opening night.
Some real good things, though, from this young Canadian quarterback. Real good. I mean, he got in trouble there. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. He's getting pulled down, and he just throws it in hopes. That's intercepted. Bounced back from the first interception in the first half to throw a touchdown to Lucky Whitehead. Showed real good composure. Good drive and throw for a touchdown to Brian Burnham to make it a one-possession game late here. And, you know, he gave him a chance. I saw some great things in this quarterback. I think he's got a future. I agree with Rick Campbell as head coach. Definitely showing a lot of poise to be put in the situation he was tonight with
suddenly learning Michael Riley, would not be starting.
I love y'all, baby. I love y'all. Probably see what daddy love y'all. That's for y'all. Y'all.
A fist bump there between the two QBs, the veteran and the rookie. Cody Fajardo takes the knee. Saskatchewan Roughriders win the game. Yes, they are back, but it wasn't nearly as easy, Suits, as it looked like it would have been early in this game.
Yeah, when that saying that says when you don't know how much you miss something until it's taken from you. See that reaction from Cody Fajardo. The first game back after a great 19 campaign, and he gets the win. He'll tell you they've got work to do. For the BC Lions, the talk will be quarterback, and more quarterback. First of all, how this all came about tonight, but how is the health of Mike Riley and his elbow? Is it going to be long-term now? The discussion on the quarterback in Vancouver is going to kickstart.
Riley sharing a moment with a former teammate in Edmonton, Dion Lacey, and Nick Marshall there, who had an interception for a touchdown that was blowing this game wide open. Credit to the Lions for coming back and making it interesting, including that young man, 23-year-old Nathan Rourke, who played a lot tonight, including that play, the lucky Whitehead. Saskatchewan Roughriders, opening night, long awaited, and a beautiful night here to see football again. The Riders get in the win column. Thanks for watching Friday Night Football. SportsCenter is next on TSN.